There are some absolute truths that we're dealing with right now. One, the Arizona Cardinals are equipped to go 2-0 with somewhat ease. Two, it's completely on Kyler Murray to make this happen and to stamp their way with a dub going into week 3. And finally, my background's red, not orange. Okay, let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Cardinals, Alex Clancy here. Everydayers, what's up? First listen to Locked On Cardinals, what's up? Maybe make, after the game Sunday, your second listen when I go live. This is going to be such a fun experiment on Sunday. There's so many storylines, so many things. You can see my giddy nature because it's here. It's time. It's not when this, if this, what if this. We are living in what the future was for 3 years. And this is just the second step of 17 to see what the hell the Cardinals are made of. In my 9th season hosting this podcast, 15 years in sports media, I have never been more excited to witness what we are about to witness. I don't know what's going to happen. Okay? Nobody does. And that's science. But regardless of what happens, it's going to be awesome. Awesome. They're going to have to move up from Kyler Murray. Awesome. Not good, not bad. Awesome. Cool. Next. What I think is going to happen, Cardinals win 11 games. They win a playoff game. Awesome. We're going to find out so much about a young team over the course of the next 17 weeks. And I can't tell you how excited I am. You should be excited too, man. Today's episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by Mazda. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned later for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward Mazda. Mazda. Move and be moved. I'm not saying that if they move off from Kyler Murray, it's going to be awesome. Okay. I'm saying awesome. We're going to find out. And going into Sunday, all eyes are on Kyler Murray. I'll explain what I mean. Keys to the victory, final segment per usual. Are we in line for defensive masterclass? Or do we need to balance our expectations? Those are the two options. And it's good. That's going to be a fascinating segment. That's probably my favorite segment of this show. Because obviously everybody wants to get super excited. Obviously everybody wants to be like, oh, top 5 defense, let it rip. Then you also realize there's a bunch of young men in that room who are either in their first, second, or third year in the league. So it'll be fascinating. Talk about that in the final segment. First, all eyes are on Kyler Murray. There are 0 reasons why the Arizona Cardinals could lose this game. 0. And for those that have been listening for a long time, for those that are, accustomed to me, I don't speak like that. I don't speak in absolutes. I struggle with things like and I like that. I think that's how thinking and being methodical and analytical should be. There are 0 reasons why the Arizona Cardinals should lose this game. 0. Not a 1. Look at what Carolina has done defensively over the last 7 weeks. For those that don't know, the Arizona Cardinals have given, or the Carolina Panthers have given up 200 or more rushing yards in each of the last 7 weeks dating back to last year, one of which was the Arizona Cardinals in that overtime loss that knocked them out of the playoffs. That's one. What are the Cardinals good at? Running the ball. What did Kyler Murray? Kyler Murray said last year when the Cardinals dominated on the ground in a game, he goes, I was kind of bored. Let's be bored. Let's be bored on Sunday with a twist, okay? This is why it's all on Kyler Murray. It's time for Kyler Murray to prove it. It's time for Kyler Murray to lead an offense to a blowout victory in a game they're supposed to be a blowout victory present. I hold very near and dear to my heart. It's not a theory. It's kind of like a thing where it's like anybody. Say you're a Cardinals fan, you've been a Cardinals fan for a long time. When you look at the schedule, you in your head are like, all right, that's a loss, that's a win, that's a maybe, that's a win, that's a loss, whatever it is. The Arizona Cardinals across the league, for the better part of their existence, have always been a green check mark for opposing teams. That's a win. And obviously, any given Sunday, okay, that's not what I'm talking about here. It's just like when you do the generalities right when you look at a schedule. And then more recently, they've kind of pivoted into the question mark realm, especially last year. It's like it went from a green check to a question mark. Could be a one-score game, kind of a wait-and-see one. And then this year, what you'd expect is you're going from the question mark to the X for opposing teams. Like, oh, that's a loss. And this game should be one of the biggest red X's for the Carolina Panthers on their calendar. And all the Cardinals need to do is do the damn thing to go blow out the Panthers. I'm not saying that a 17-10 win is going to mean less than a 30-3 win. But seeing it go through the hoop, and by going through the hoop, I mean just hammering home the offensive prowess that this team has on paper, watching it, home opener, gaining some sort of momentum from last week's clunker, but week one they got a win, didn't matter. They avoided catastrophe at the end of a game. This is a perfect time for Kyler Murray to put up one of his vintage 300 all-purpose yards, 4 touchdown performances. On the ground, running. Look, if he has 8 carries for 70 yards and throws for 200, and that's 4 total touchdowns. Like, this should be a no-doubter, and it needs to be a no-doubter. I'm even throwing in the word desperation, and not desperation like if the Cardinals lose this game, their season's not over. Like, the world isn't crumbling, and it's going to be a wildly terrible look for the expectations the Arizona Cardinals had going into the season. Both can be true. And while the Cardinals are supposed to win this game, and while the Cardinals are pretty heavy favorites to win this game, watching it happen, watching one go through the hoop will feed souls. Be chicken soup for the soul. If you don't know what that is, I'm old. That's what we need to see, and it needs to be Kyler Murray running the charge. I don't want to see 13 for 19 for 120 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. I don't care about numbers. I've said that. Like, Kyler Murray is one of the toughest dudes to pinpoint when it comes to production with numbers because he doesn't throw for 300 yards a game. Like, it's part of it's Drew Petzing's offense. He'll have, 1 or 2 games a year where he absolutely explodes on the stat sheet, but he's kind of bred in efficiency, completion percentage, things like that. I want to see, selfishly, just bonkers numbers. I want to see leave no doubt from the first snap on both sides of the ball. I'm going to get to the defense next segment, which I'm even more excited about. But there are very few times in a pivotal year for someone to really just hammer home, this is how high the floor is risen. And I don't care. Like, yeah, Carolina's beat them 7 out of 8. There's weird things with, rivalries with teams that aren't in the same division, but seem to play every year. Like the Lions and the Cardinals were like this too. When the Cardinals were supposed to win a slew of games against the Lions, a couple of them were at home, and they lost them all. Including, I guess Kyler Murray's week 1 game against the Lions didn't really count. His rookie year. This is a leave no doubt situation. This is one of those times in a pivotal year where you can just show the Cardinals are so much better than they've been. And they handle a team they should handle pretty easily at home and move the hell on to San Francisco and Levi Stadium in week 3. And it's on Kyler. It's on him to be the maestro. This is it. There's no more bleeping around. Jobs are on the line. And I'm not saying that if the Cardinals lose, you got to fire everybody. And also, wouldn't it be nice just to have an absolute demonic win at home against a team you're supposed to beat up? Be chicken soup for the damn soul. Locked on Cardinals, your team every day. Are we looking at another defensive masterclass? Or should we kind of balance and temper our expectations? I'll discuss it next. This episode of Locked on Cardinals is brought to you by our dear friends over at DoorDash. It's almost a weekend tomorrow. Time to look back and crown this week's MVP on who delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash streaks, saving more every time you order. These players delivered when it mattered most. Let's break it down. It's Will Johnson. I'm taking Will Johnson. I'm giving him 2. Will Johnson last week, regardless of who the opponent was, in his first action as an NFL player, was the best DB on the field for the Cardinals. And that's pretty competitive. That's a pretty competitive statement. Buda Baker, Jalen Thompson, etc. He had no hesitation in his play. He reveled in the moment, and he led the charge for the Cardinals on defense, who only gave up 13 points. And just like Will Johnson delivered for the Cardinals, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays. With DoorDash streaks, you save every Saturday you order, stack it up all season, and you could save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day. Only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period through 11/18. Today's episode of Locked on Cardinals is also brought to you by our other dear friends at FanDuel. NFL season's here, man. Do you know that? You're watching an NFL podcast talking about a game that's on Sunday. FanDuel's making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. This is Looney Tunes. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Let me reiterate. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. You want to put some futures on Jonathan Gannon for Coach of the Year? You want to put some futures on the Cardinals not making the playoffs? You can do the whole gambit of it over at FanDuel. So you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app by going to FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. Please go to the YouTube channel, search Locked on Arizona Cardinals. Hit that subscribe button, man. You know the drill. Sunday, immediately following the game, I'll be going live on this lovely podcast channel. On YouTube, 15, 20 minutes immediately following that. Cardinal Squad Show, myself, Jamil Douglas, Ben Garcia, full hour, live. Join us. Numbers are growing every week, every show. For those that double dip, I appreciate a double dip. No Georgia Costanza here. Something that I've struggled with over the last 3 or 4 days is, what are the expectations of the defense? And I think that's a valid question to ask. It's making it so difficult to weaken or dissipate or diffuse the stance that this defense is ready to rip now, and there should be no contingencies or restrictor plates associated with it. Theo Mackey, AZ Central, tweeted out that the Cardinals averaged 1.5 pass deflections a game last year, with the most being 4. This is Theo Mackey tweeting this. They had 7 in week 1 and was the highest rated pass protection tandem group in the NFL in week 1. Okay. Again, New Orleans, week 1, fine. I get it all. And then you look at the numbers with the pass rush. It's like, maybe the Cardinals didn't have as anemic of a pass rush at times as we thought. And then you realize, both of those guys play on the same team. I joke, I act like an idiot to say, is it time to temper? Or are you putting your entire body in the water and not just a toe with this defense? I know it's going to be determinate regarding who they play, of course. What if the Cardinals blank Carolina? What if they give up 10 or 13 points again? When do you start to believe, when does it matter who they play and not that they're beating up on worse teams who are still obviously NFL caliber players? When does blowing out bad teams translate to this defense is elite or getting there? Are you expecting a masterclass again this weekend? An offensive line is going to have an offensive lineman out. You got Chuba Hubbard, you got Ted McMillan, and that's about it. Jalen Coger's on IR. Got Hunter Renfrow. Sanders, the tight end. This is a team that absolutely got railroaded by the Jacksonville Jaguars last week. And I think Brian Thomas Jr. only had one catch. Travis Etienne ran all around. Like over 160 yards rushing, I think. Like, is there a world where the Cardinals blank Carolina or give up 10 points or less with just rinse and repeat of last week on top of, and this is the one thing, and I'll talk about keys to victory here with it, but the pass rush didn't know who it was yet. And not because Nick Rallis is out of control. No. They have so many dudes lining up in so many different spots because they need to find out what the right elixir is when you actually have all the starters playing. It's not the preseason. And I feel like there's so many positives from last week with the pass rush, even though the tackles aren't great with the Saints. I know that. To be able to leverage that to being far more, in mid-season form come Sunday. I didn't see a weakness on the Cardinals defense this past week, regardless of who they played. Sure, there was a little run up the middle with Kendre Miller we saw, which is something that has been an issue. I feel like, here's the thing. When the game script for the opposing team is throwing the ball almost 50 times, you kind of got to throw conventional wisdom out the door regarding metrics. And that's why I've kind of placated the whole thing on, well, the numbers are actually pretty good with rush rate, win rate. It's like, yeah, but he threw the ball 50 times. It's like, it wasn't a traditional game plan. It was a survival game plan. And that may be what the Saints are this year. But are you expecting a defensive masterclass on Sunday? Or are we kind of temper and do more of a wait and see? You're leaning on the side of this defense is going to be really good. Like, concretely and factually, things are different. The talent is exponentially better than we've seen since what? Even Chandler Jones in his peak with Patrick Peterson and Budda Baker when he came on, he was a young guy. It's like, was that better than this? Because the rest of the 8 dudes on that team, you put all the collection of talent together and you average it in like a Madden rating system, this roster is exponentially higher than that average-wise. If they give up 25 points, even if they give up 20 points to this team, and unless the Cardinals are up by 1 million and there's garbage time, like, I fully expect this defense to give up less than 17 points to Carolina. And my first mentor in this space called me last year. He used to play with the Cardinals. He hasn't been with us for I think 5 years now. It's crazy. He told me the number was 17. If your defense gives up 17 points or less, there's no reason why you should ever lose a football game. And that stuck with me as kind of like the barometer. It's like 17 points. That's a really good defense. 17 points. A very, very good defense. So if the Cardinals can give up 17 points or less to Carolina, I know that Carolina's offense isn't very good. I know their defense isn't very good. Bryce Young is kind of misunderstood. Like, I thought that they were insane for taking him one. He's a very smart quarterback, and he knows his angles. He's like I talked about this on the squad show on Wednesday night. I was never the tallest dude. I was never the fastest. I was never the strongest. But when I played basketball growing up, it was always against guys bigger than me. I always played against guys older than me. And I learned how to be Steve Nash-like in the paint. Teardrops, bang shots, both hands. That was my, equalizer for not being able to jump as high or run as fast or whatever it is. And Bryce Young has that too with his ability to use angles and space to his advantage. He is a sneaky good runner of the football. He's like Patrick Mahomes sneaky. He's frail. He makes me look like a sumo wrestler. But the dude can get to his spots. He can throw on the run. With all that said, I fully expect the Cardinals to give up 17 points or less. And then we're starting to have real conversations of how really good is this defense after having 120 minutes of tape through the first 2 weeks. Either way, I'm jacked up about it. I'm so excited. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. What are the keys to victory? Win the turnover battle. Spoiler alert, because that's going to be one every week. If you've been around, you know that. There's a couple others, though, that I think you'd be interested in. I'll talk about it next. Today's episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by Mazda's moving the game forward. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, move culture, and keep moving the game forward. This week's moment that moved the game forward for me, it's still on the defense, but it was Budda Baker and Jalen Thompson teaming up in some form or fashion to jar the ball loose from Juwan Johnson, which kept the Cardinals from potentially introducing themselves to a cataclysmic situation if the Saints would have scored a touchdown, went for two, and won the game. I don't know if you can get better than that. That moved the game forward because the Cardinals ended the Saints' chances and ended up winning a game, moving to 1-0. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. Please go to the YouTube channel, man. Search Locked On Arizona Cardinals. Hit that subscribe button. Turn notifications on. I'm a broken record. My big dumb face is going to say it forever. The viewership has been great. So happy. I've launched the Locked On Cardinals Insider Program. The shows in the link is in the description. I've had some subs sign up. I've been texting with them one-on-one. It's just a fun way to interact when it's not 30 minutes a day or 26 minutes a day or YouTube comments, whatever it is. First 2 weeks are free. Check it out. Try it out. I just want to give back and enrich this experience for you as much as I possibly can. And that's just another way that we can do it. Also, my background is red. It is not orange. It is red. Red. Okay. What are the keys to victory? Win the turnover battle. I say it tongue in cheek. And also it is usually the biggest thing. I don't care how far the Cardinals' weight of talent is on them and further away from Carolina. I don't care how much more talented this roster is. I don't care. The Cardinals turn the ball over twice and Carolina turns the ball over 0 times. You got a game. But the other way is the big one. This is what I discussed a lot this offseason. The Cardinals haven't been an opportunistic team or executed opportunistically to turn the ball over. They had 17 takeaways last year. Not a lot. And they had a -3 ratio of turnovers to takeaways. The Bills, I believe, had 32 takeaways last year. That's double almost, obviously. So imagine how many more offensive opportunities the Arizona Cardinals could have if the defense could turn the opposing team over. This is something where I know Jonathan Gannon has preached this. He doesn't care about sacks. He cares about getting the ball. And they haven't been able to do it. There wasn't really anything close to be able to turn over last time, aside from, Will Johnson pretty much meeting Chris Olave right after he caught the ball. But after watching back, and I talked about this on the squad show, that's like, if Will Johnson knew that he had backup right behind him, maybe he would have jumped that route. There's no way. There's just no physical way that he could have got all the way back there. I kind of want to see a couple go through the net with that too. Cardinals turn over Carolina once or twice. Fumbles, interceptions, whatever it is. Extra opportunities, hopefully on short fields or saving Carolina from going in and scoring, whether it be 6 or a field goal. I want to see it. That's a massive key to victory. And it's not just for this game. It's for the season. The Cardinals are going to have to turn opposing teams over if they want to win as many games as they need to win. That's one. Number 2, you run the ball effectively. 200 yards. The Cardinals had 150, almost 150 last week. I know a third of that was on one Trey Benson run, but it's got to be better. It was not efficient. It was not efficient at all last week. It was kind of clunky. James Conner didn't look very good. Not that he didn't, not like he looked slow, but they just looked kind of. It looked like the game plan was play action, and they just happened to stumble into 150 yards rushing, which is kind of what the Cardinals do. But you need to control this game, and imagine being able to get first down after first down, 5 yards, 4 yards, 6 yards, 8 yards, 12 yards on the ground, and then you set up play action, you take deep shots down the field, you kind of excite the crowd and me with some more chunk gains down the field. That's where this offense is best. It doesn't need to be that for it to be great, but I think against a team that can't stop the run, you got to start there. And I'm including Kyler Murray. I liked that he ran the ball 4 or 5 times. He wasn't efficient. I did really like the play call with the 14 personnel with the 4 tight ends around the goal line, where I thought Kyler could have hit the pylon. I thought he's fast enough to get there, but he cut it inside and only gained a couple yards. The final key to victory is, while I think the Cardinals will win this game, I want Kyler Murray to show why he's the quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals. The key to victory, this is kind of future pacing as well as on Sunday. It starts now. It starts now. The Cardinals' journey, the Cardinals' plight to double-digit wins, potentially an NFC West crown, and winning a playoff game starts now. Preseason week 1 was last week. You want to look polished? You want to look dominant? You want to look violent on defense? You want to look elite on offense? It starts with Kyler Murray and this offense figuring out what tweaks need to be made and going to the bleeping moon. To the moon. After the game, I'll be going live 15 minutes on Locked On Cardinals YouTube channel, immediately followed by the Cardinal Squad Show, myself, Jamil Douglas, Ben Garcia, full hour live. Join us. Remember, without you, there is no me. I'll talk to you Sunday.